prove after that junior race. The karting sprint definitely brings a lot of entertainment, doesn't it, Darren?
Yeah, I was expecting the seniors to put on a more sensible show, but with 11 going out on the first lap and obviously at the end of the race, only 15 making it to the flag. So, yeah, a race full of carnage, but a great result for Belgium there, but also Sri Lanka and Israel getting their first medal. So a really wonderful podium to see in the senior sprint race for the karting there.
Making it onto the medal table. Now joining us here in the studio is Kristaps, the gold medalist from Latvia in the drifting. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
You were just saying to Darren, what? 11 out?
Yeah, that's a pretty bloody race. Only half of the participants finish it. So
First lap.
definitely excited.
Now, it's lovely to meet you. We haven't had the opportunity to speak to you yet, but we have all learnt a lot about drifting over these games, and it's really had it's great attention. The fans love it.
Yeah, definitely. This is a sport to watch, and I'm happy that FIA start to be more involved in drifting, because this is definitely sport for the fans, and it's very spectacular, and it's just still getting bigger and bigger.
Before we look at your winning runs, how did you get into drifting?
I started, well, my motorsport career, I started with the circuit racing and time attacks races, and then back in when the drifting appeared in our region in Latvia, that was 2008, 2009, I guess. We tried it, and we really liked it. It was easier to gain or to get the sponsors, and starting from 2010 we started to do it professionally across the Europe, and even in 2015 we managed to compete overseas in Formula D, and yeah, it's been a nice journey for the, I think, last 14 years, and still there. So means it's still excited for me.
Something's working. Now let's take a look at your runs, because it is a fan's favourite, but maybe not clear to people how it's worked out. So can you talk us through this run?
Yeah, I think this was the
three.
first of the finals. Yeah. Well, since the Ali Maxid was higher in the qualification, so he had to lead the first run, and after the first transition, there is like an outside zone in which there is a deceleration zone, and he was put on fault because he wasn't back on trial, or he was in a too deep angle. So I have to mimic him, and the judges put him on fault, and I knew it. And then I knew that I just have to do my best lead run to get the win, and I actually managed to do pretty much the same mistake in the same place.
In the second one?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, so far everything was fine. I did accelerate. The entry speed here was around 130, and just after the first transition I was too shallow, and I a little bit get back on the handbrake, and that slowed me down, and that that unexpected move caused the collision, and the judges put me on fault, and that was 1-1, and then so judges decided to go one more time, so the final doesn't end in this way.
So yeah, this is the thing with drifting, isn't it? It's all based on judging and your points you get from the judges, but if they can't quite make their mind up, or you both have a fault like you did, then they have one more time.
Yeah, well, as you're saying, yeah, it's judging sport, and sometimes, well, everybody wants to pull a blanket on his side, but judges, that's their job to make it as fair as possible, and sometimes if it's a questionable situation, they prefer to do it one more time, so to be on the safe side.
How do they decide who leads in that situation then?
That is based on the qualification runs that we do it the day before, and the higher you qualify, the bigger chance you have that you will start as a lead car.
Okay, so let's take a look at your one more time.
That was a good one.
The one to watch.
So if you talk us through it, so you were the lead, so that means that you had the higher qualifying then?
No, this was the second part of the one more time.
Okay.
This is my lead run, and before that I did the chase, and that was really good. So I again knew it that I have to just put the best lead run, and tricky. But on the first run, when there was a collision, he hit me. There was a hit on my rear right wheel, and it was slightly bent, but it wasn't anything like that we couldn't take the run. And what that collision cost actually the advantage, because
Right.
at certain layouts that gave me a little bit more grip, and that I could pick up more speed and get a gap between our cars. And even after finish, Ali asked me like, "What did you do with the car? Why you got so fast?" And I was like, "You did it yourself. You hit me on a wheel, and it changed alignment, but changed for good."
So is that now a trick for the future? This a new alignment that you found, or is it?
Well, that's it's a lucky situation.
Okay.
Sometimes it works, but in most cases, collision is definitely not good.
And as a driver, do you prefer to be the lead or the chase? What's the advantage, basically?
I think I prefer first to do the chase run,
Okay.
because we have the same like in rallycross, we have a spotters, and if you're doing the lead, means you don't know what's going on behind you, and then the spotter have to explain you how close he was, did he made any mistakes, and so on. And but if you are doing the first chase run, you know it yourself how he performed and how you did, and
What
then
you've got to
you
do.
can make your own decisions, because
Yeah.
sometimes opinions between humans are different.
And in that chase scenario, what's the visibility like? Because I've been sort of looking at the onboards and I'm thinking this huge plume of tyre smoke coming out. So it must be very difficult to judge where you are in relation to the circuit, but also to the competitor.
That's what you, I call it instinct,
Okay.
and the muscle memory. You do quite a lot practice runs, and you do qualification and tandem practice, and that's what you get into. You kind of work on a layout, and that is the muscle memory that works for you.
Yeah.
When you get in a blind spot, if you get smoked,
Yeah.
and then you just somehow, I don't know, count or feel the time wise and track wise where you have to do transitions to stay on a track. It doesn't work always. Sometimes you get swapped out from the racetrack or even crash into someone, but it's all about muscle memory.
Okay, great.
Darren, when you're watching that as a driver, can you understand what they're doing in the car?
No.
Or how they achieve that?
No, I mean, in racing terms, any slip is a bad thing. You know, you're always trying to keep the car tight and right on the edge of the limit of adhesion, where it's the opposite. You're trying to get the biggest angle you possibly can with the greatest amount of speed while you're carrying that angle. So it's a completely different type of car control and mindset. So it's really interesting to see how it's done. I would feel very uncomfortable trying to slide a car just because it's something I've not really experienced. So it's great to see, because the car control, you can appreciate the car control in terms of being able to
Yes.
balance a car at that angle for that sort of time and distance. So yeah, very impressive to watch.
Agree, yeah. And as I said, like I started as a circuit racing, and at the certain time I did both competitions at the same time. And then when there was a rainy day or the rain, I felt like really comfortable.
Yes.
I felt really, because I can feel the tiny thing before you have a grip,
Yeah.
and you're about to lose it.
Okay.
And that's, as you say, like you are on that limit to stay on your perfect line, but in the same time, kind of you feel that the car is about to get loose.
I mean, we've been really lucky for the last 3 days with the weather down here. It's been perfectly dry the whole way through. If we had the rain this weekend down here, would it have changed much? Does it change much with the car setup and preparation?
We will we will lose the speed. It would be much slower, and there would be no smoke. But otherwise, it would be exactly the same layout, same course, and we would probably do the same, but not much.
And tyres are the same? If it's wet dry,
Tires all the same. Yeah, we probably play with suspension, geometrics. Probably disconnect the sway bars so the car is more loosey, more soft, and probably lower the tire pressure.
Okay, right. So some minor little changes there.
Yeah, and I'm as I see the drifting, and since I've been doing also the circuit racing, drifting actually is quite similar. The only difference is that you're going sideways, but you're still on a full throttle.
Yeah.
Because we managed to play with the gear ratios, so you can like floor it, and still the engine wouldn't hit the limiter.
Okay. Yeah.
And but you're going pretty much the fastest line, and only difference is that you are not looking through the windshield, just through your side window. But it's still about the same line and the speed. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, Kristaps, thanks very much. It was lovely to meet you, and well done again. Well done to Latvia. I'm sure you were all very happy and celebrating hard last night.
Definitely, it's been an honor to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thanks very much, Kristaps Blušs, the gold medalist for drifting. We are now heading to other medalists, and they're going to take their podiums. We have got the karting sprint